You all. The topic that we are going to see is discrimination of gender in school activities. Synopsis. It may contain the introduction, gender bias in education, gender discrimination, barriers to education, unequal access to education, classroom organization and management, role of principals in making the school gender sensitive, role of a teacher, and conclusion and reference. First, introduction. The gender refers to the characteristic of a men, women, girls, and boys, which is socially constructed. This may include the norms, behaviors, and the role associated with being a man, woman, girl, or a boy, as well as a relationship with each other. As a social construct, genders varies from society to society and can change over time. Gender bias. Gender bias is a showing favoritism towards one gender over another. More often, the gender bias is the act of favoring the men and or a boys over a woman or girls. It is a situation where men and women are not treated equally. Gender bias occurs when people make an assumption regarding the behaviors, abilities of others based upon their gender. Gender bias in education. Disparity can be seen in the field of education too. It may include the teacher attention is unequal between genders, curriculum favors the male experience, men to receive more education than women. In the classroom, the students are seated or lined up by gender. Gender discrimination. Discrimination is based on the gender is one of the primary impediments to education which affects both boys and girls. Gender discrimination at school comes in many different forms. The gender discrimination in education. In some regions, boys' educational opportunities are limited by their gender roles that force them to work rather than attend schools. Their financial responsibilities are often increases in boys' adolescent years, making it difficult for them to complete the secondary school in some regions. Poor girls from the rural areas with uneducated mothers or the children mostly like to be excluded from learning opportunities. For girls, the barriers to education are multiple and may include poverty, values, behaviors, and tradition that limit their opportunities, gender based violence in schools, child marriage, distance to school and safety concerns, child labor, children with disabilities. Unequal access to education. It may contain literacy. Female literacy rate is lower than the male literacy rate. Compared to boys, far fewer girls are enrolled in the school and many of them are dropped out. Low level of education significantly affect the health and nutritional status of women. Second, schooling. In rural regions, girls continue to be less educated than boys. Chief barriers to female education are inadequate school facilities, shortage of female teachers, and gender bias in curriculum. School availability. Unable to access the primary education within 1 kilometer and upper primary school is not available within 3 kilometer. Violence against women. Sexual harassment and violence also continue to be major factors preventing the girls' education and sexual abuse. Classroom organization and management. Promote a healthy relationship between boys and girls, equal participation of boys and girls. The classroom culture should build in a manner that interaction between the boys and girls reflect the mutual respect. Use the visual aids like women working in the field along with the men. Role of principals in making the school a gender sensitive. Support the teachers to make the classroom teaching learning process more gender sensitive and use the relevant examples during the transaction of subjects. Girls should be encouraged to express themselves freely and confidently within and outside the school. Girls and boys should equally participate in all sports and other activities. Involve more students to share their ideas on how to improve the school environment through the gender clubs. Guidance and counseling services for students to be made available and organize a regular self-defense training for both boys and girls. Role of a teacher. The teacher should first identify the gender difference in all schooling activities and then plan and implement the activities in the classroom and outside the classroom accordingly. The curriculum and the instruction material should be transit keeping in view the issues related to the gender as well as the individual difference. Teachers should organize the co-curricular activities. Teachers should develop an awakening in the society about the need of education for girls. Conclusion. The gender discrimination must be checked at each stage so that no person should be denied a chance to learn and grow. Thus, everyone, no matter whether they are male or female, must get a start in line in terms of education and other opportunities. These are the references. Thank you.